Eamonn Holmes' love shock. He's acted like an old fool with Katie Alexander. He's been treating her to pricey gifts in a bid to strengthen their romance. He's been showering his younger girlfriend Katie Alexander with lavish gifts and five-star holidays in an apparent bid to save their rocky relationship, and now pals have branded Eamonn Holmes a fool in his rebound romance. Pals have warned Eamonn that the writing has been on the wall for some time, we're told. Everyone gave Katie the benefit of the doubt at first. On meeting her, she is genuine and appears kind and has all the best intentions, with Eamonn's well-being at heart. But pals think she's not in it for the long game. Last month, Eamonn, 65, treated his 43-year-old girlfriend to a football match with £12,000 VIP tickets. They watched his beloved Manchester United draw 1-1 with Fulham from the hospitality stand with Michelin-star food, before spending a romantic weekend in his native Belfast. This was just weeks after the GB News presenter, whose divorce from Ruth Langsford is still being finalised, took Katie and her 3 adult children on a luxurious holiday to Cyprus, where they stayed at the 5-star Annabelle Beach Resort, which has 4 swimming pools, 4 restaurants, tennis courts and a spa. The vacay came not long after the star pulled out of buying Katie a £550,000 semi-detached home in West Yorkshire, amid rumours that cracks are starting to show in their year-long romance. Our source says, in the most recent pictures of them on holiday, they're barely touching or exchanging glances. And when they've been spotted together at events, it looks like Katie is about to check out. Eamonn's kids, Declan, 36, Rebecca, 34, and Niall, 32, with first wife Gabrielle, as well as 23-year-old Jack with Ruth, have had concerns about his romance with divorced relationship counselor Katie. He has reportedly had a falling out with Niall, who is siding with his stepmother Ruth, while things remain strained between Eamonn and Jack. The fact Eamonn and Katie are still together is said to have gone down like a lead balloon with his family. His children don't feel sorry for their dad. They're angry and embarrassed over his behavior, and they have seen the red flags. A lot of people have commented that Eamonn's lost so much and all for some arm candy, says our insider. Now, people are saying Eamonn's the old fool that got sucked in and will inevitably be spat out. Of course, no one wants to see this relationship end for Eamonn, but they just don't see a future in it. Eamonn and Katie, who have known each other since 2015, started dating shortly after his 14-year marriage from Ruth ended in May 2024, after 27 years. He and his new girlfriend were first seen together in August, before they made their public debut as a couple a few months later. They went Insta-official in May, marking a year since his breakup announcement. Since then, they have split their time between his London home and hers in Yorkshire, where her family live. But while Eamonn's reported to have called Katie his soulmate, and engagement rumors swirled at one point, their relationship has hit stumbling blocks in the past few months, as the couple face up to Eamonn's health struggles as well as mounting criticism over their romance. The public backlash has been more than Katie bargained for, we're told. But she's involved in a divorce between one of the nation's favorite couples. Katie herself confided that she was being trolled by Ruth's followers and felt that the country hated her. Meanwhile, Ruth has been throwing herself into work and single life since the split, enjoying nights out with her celeb pals including Rylan and Lizzie Cundy. Ruth is living her best life, says our insider. Eamonn's aged 20 years, while Ruth's gone the other way. She's taken the divorce like a spring clean, she's cleared out all the cobwebs and reinvented the better version of herself. Ruth Langsford's revenge. I knew Eamonn Holmes would come back. Following their bitter split, pals say Eamonn is hoping for a Christmas reunion with ex-Ruth. Over a year after they announced their shock split, Closer can reveal that Eamonn Holmes wants to reunite with ex-wife Ruth Langsford. According to pals, the TV host has finally come to realize what he's lost, but for Ruth, it's too little, too late. Eamonn has shocked pals after telling them he wants to be a family again with Ruth at Christmas. He knows he wasn't always the dream husband, but he would still like to be friends and wants to rebuild that trust, says our insider. He wants to change the dynamics. Currently they are and remain amicable, but he wants more, he wants Ruth back in his life. After all, they are family. This change of heart comes amid reports that Eamonn has been splashing out on expensive gifts and lavish holidays for his girlfriend, Katie Alexander, 42, because their relationship, which began last year, is said to have hit a rocky patch. Ruth and Eamonn, both 65 who presented This Morning together from 2006 to 2022 first began their relationship in 1996. They had their son, Jack, in 2002, before tying the knot in 2010. Eamonn also has 3 grown-up children from his first marriage. But in May last year, after 27 years together and 14 years of marriage, the much-loved couple announced they were in the process of getting a divorce, after claims that Ruth discovered messages between Eamonn and another woman. Our source continues, for Ruth, this is adding insult to injury, there's no sweeping away the pain, hurt, deceit and lies. Eamonn can't help but twist the facts to work into his idealism, there's no admission of fault. He lives in la la land if he thinks Ruth is just going to take him back with open arms. Ruth knew that this day would come, and Eamonn would come crawling back. But she's no longer invested in him or their marriage, just their son, Jack. Eamonn's feeling sorry for himself and hankering over the good old times, but there won't be any happy times again as a family, he single-handedly ruined that. Eamonn and Ruth have reached a place where they can be on common, civil ground for the sake of their son, but, after that, it's still rocky ground. Earlier this year, it was reported Eamonn and Ruth were embroiled in a bitter divorce battle over their £3.6 million Surrey home. But tensions appeared to have improved over the summer, with Eamonn praising his ex in a post on Instagram for looking after their beloved dog, Maggie. Meanwhile, Ruth has been throwing herself into work and letting her hair down with pals including Amanda Holden, Rylan Clark and Lizzie Cundy. Ruth doesn't have the time of day for Eamonn's woes, he never gave her 2 seconds of thought after 14 years, as he threw it all away on a whim, adds our source. Ruth always said it was going to be a matter of time when Eamonn would suddenly sit up and realize he messed up. He might not be able to salvage a marriage, but he can at least try to have Ruth back as his friend. Getting Ruth back on side is going to be a lifelong mission, letting her go is his biggest mistake yet. It's a physically difficult existence, Eamonn Holmes opens up on his struggles. Broadcaster Eamonn Holmes has spoken of a physically difficult existence, as he is mostly confined to a wheelchair nowadays. One of the best-known TV personalities in the UK, the 65-year-old has suffered from long-term difficulties, previously telling of his battle with chronic back pain after a dislocated pelvis led to 3 slipped discs. The star appeared on UTV Life as he reflected on his career and spoke about his upcoming tour, This Is My Life. Holmes told host Pamela Ballantyne he was homesick when he left Belfast in 1986, and it's never changed. She said she uses Holmes as an example to young people who want to enter the media industry, as she recalled starting her own career at UTV in 1984 when her guest was on the payroll. Pamela admitted she was scared of Eamonn because he sat there so focused, as she revealed she advises aspiring broadcasters seeking to imitate his success that they have to graft. Over the last 2 years he's been unable to travel home much because of his disability. He said it's due to a disc operation which went wrong in my back and it means I can't walk, other than 50 yards or something with a stroller device, but basically I'm wheelchair bound. He added, it's a physically difficult existence. Holmes said he was lucky with everything he did on Ulster television and was poached by the BBC with this program called Open Air. It was amazing, he said, but he didn't want to go, believing he had the best job in Northern Ireland, hosting Good Evening Ulster 5 nights a week. He added, but I had this foreboding that, what if it changed? What would you do? You have the top job. Where do you go? There's only one way. I'm 26 years of age. The only one way to go is down. So I thought, I've got to go. And I was very homesick when I went to Manchester. Manchester's a beautiful city. It's like Belfast in many, many ways. So it was friendly, it was welcoming. London is different. It was colder. You say hello to somebody and they look at you like, you know, why did you do that for me? I don't know you. He shared fond memories of presenting Farming Ulster, saying, it was my favorite program ever of all the things that I've done. On the November tour about his life, Holmes said he's a bit frightened that nobody will turn up. It's a stroll through my life. It's also looking at the Troubles, it's talking about the influence of the Troubles and growing up in Belfast. And, you know, people ask you what makes you you. I can only think of a mixture of a number of things and I'm not really sure why, but I know my education in primary and secondary schools had a big impact on who I was and who I was supposed to be. And if you had a talent, it was your duty to see it through, whatever that talent was, whether it was a sporting talent or whether it was an intellectual talent or whatever it is. So in my case it was, I always wanted to be a journalist. I wanted to be a broadcaster. He spoke of his college lecturer Joan Fitzpatrick phoning him up to say, you always wanted to be on the TV, didn't you? Well, Ulster Television are looking for reporters. And I said, well, what sort of reporter, Mrs. Fitzpatrick? She said, Farming reporters. And I went, I don't know anything about farming, Mrs. Fitzpatrick, I'm a city boy, born and bred. And she said, Rule 1 of journalism, Eamonn, find out. And she put the phone down.